Yeah, I mean, today I think I played probably the best I could, and today in the moment. I think we were both kind of shaky in the first couple games, had a lot of early unforced errors, but after that, it was smooth sailing from there.
Okay. First question for Howard.
Hello.
Howard Fendrich with the Associated Press. I want to ask you one very quick, easy, frivolous question, and then a slightly more serious one. First question is just, can you tell us what you're listening to when you walk out on court in your earbuds?
I'm I'm listening to a playlist called Rap. And I can't say the next word. It's a but it's a playlist of a bunch of like hardcore rap songs that I put together to get me hyped for the match. I don't remember what song I was listening to when I walked on the court though.
Okay. And the other thing I want to ask about is what happened at the end of the match when you walked over to the TV camera and wrote that message there. I'm wondering why you did that, and how is it for you important to speak your mind about various issues that have nothing to do with tennis?
I mean, for me, it's important just as a person in the world, regardless of a tennis player or not. And I think for me, it was especially important just being in Europe and, being on where I know people globally around the world are for sure watching. And I think that this is a problem, it's in other parts of the world, but especially in America, it's a problem that's frankly been happening over some years, but obviously now it's getting more attention. But for me, it's been an issue for years. For me, it's kind of close to home. I had some friends that were a part of the Parkland shooting back in, I don't remember which year. And I remember watching that whole experience, like pretty much firsthand, like seeing, and, having friends go through that whole experience. Luckily they were able to make it out of that. And, I just think it's crazy that I think I was like maybe 14 or 13 when that happened and still really nothing has changed. So, I just think that was a message just, for the people, back at home to watch, and then for people who are all around the world to watch. And, I know that, it's not, hopefully it gets into the heads of some of the people in office to help change things.
Hi, Coco. Congratulations. Just picking up on that a little bit. Did you go onto court today with that planned to write that message on the camera if in the event that you did win?
No. I really didn't know what I was going to write, even moments walking to the camera. And it just felt right in that moment, to write that. And I woke up this morning and, I saw that there was another shooting, and I think it's just, crazy. And I know that it's getting more attention now, but like I said in the previous question, like this has been an issue, at least in my head, for a long time. And I definitely think there needs to be some reform put into place. And I think now, especially being 18, I've really been trying to educate myself around certain situations, because now I have the right to vote, and I want to use that wisely.
And just finally on that, do you receive any pressure not to speak out about these political issues that matter from you? Do you have to resist any of that in order to speak about what matters?
No. I mean, my team around me knows that if I want to say something, I'm going to say it. But particularly if I do say something, most of the time I put a lot of thought into what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it. If anything, my team and my parents encouraged me to write that. Since I was younger, I know I said this before, that my dad told me I could change the world with my racket. And he didn't mean that by like just playing tennis. He meant on speaking out on issues like this. And, the first thing that my dad said to me after I got off court was, "I'm proud of you. And I love what you wrote on the camera." So, I think my parents support me when talking about issues like this.
Hi, Coco. You've talked quite a bit about having perspective on tennis, and it's not everything. So I'm wondering just how you came to that conclusion and using it in your own kind of career, given that it can obviously be very easy for players to see tennis as their world.
I think really it's what gets given me that perspective is just paying attention to the people around me, and I feel like I put myself in a bubble to the point where it was like tennis, 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 tennis. And I realized, and really talking to my family in general, my grandmother, she's always like, there's more to life than this, and you just need to relax when you're out there. And I always would brush over, like, you can't relax in these situations. But now I look at it, I'm like, you're right. I mean, I can't relax in these situations. It's just a tennis match, and it's not the end of the world. And there's so many people going through so many, like, uncomfortable situations, and for me to be, I mean, obviously being nervous is natural, but for me to think that winning a tennis match or losing a tennis match is the end of the world, I think just kind of shows what kind of privilege I have. So I think for me, I just took a step back and said, you know, this is just a tennis match, and whatever happens, it happens. And I think that's probably helped me being in that mindset.
Coco, you're 18, but I was curious, do you feel like a veteran pro at this point? And could you talk a little bit about what it means to make it to your first final in a Grand Slam in singles at this stage of your life?
I don't think I consider myself a veteran. I mean, I do when I step on the court. I think I do know, like, I feel like I've learned sooner how to handle myself in certain situations than other players have. But yeah, I think I'm still learning day in and day out. And I don't know. I think I won't consider myself a veteran until a while from now. Oh yeah, sorry, that part. Yeah, yeah, it definitely means a lot. I'm so happy, and definitely I wasn't expecting it. I'm gonna be honest, this year I hadn't had the best results going into this, so it wasn't expected at all, really.
Hi, congratulations. Martina before said that normally she's much louder than today, and so I'd like to know if you were so surprised about her screaming at the beginning and you had to go to the umpire, and if you had heard in the past Azarenka, who is probably even louder sometimes, and you haven't met Selish, who was even louder. Yeah. So what do you think about it?
Oh, for me, it wasn't like the volume of the grunt. I just, she didn't do it really after that. It was honestly just those 2 points while she was grunting. I'm sure if you watched the video back while she was grunting, I was still hitting the ball. So it wasn't so much the volume of it. It was more so the length of the grunt. And I just wasn't used to, and I asked the ref, I didn't complain first. First I asked, is that allowed? Because I didn't know the rules regarding if she was allowed to grunt. And she told me no, that she was going to talk to her later about it. But it wasn't the volume. It was just more so, like, I remember hitting the backhand and I could still hear her grunting. But no, I love Martina. You know, when we're on the court, I mean, it's you know, there's stuff like that you're going to talk about. But, you know, as y'all saw at the end, we hugged each other. So, yeah, I have no problem with her.
Coco, congratulations. Just to get back to your camera message briefly, when you're talking about wanting to make noise with not just the actual hitting the ball part of your racket, were there other athletes to look to as role models for this, whether it's, you know, Billie Jean King, who was in the stands today, or Naomi Osaka, or Colin Kaepernick, or whoever it may be, who you sort of see as a role model and a template for what you want to try to do?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I would say LeBron James, Serena, Billie Jean, Colin, the list goes on, Naomi. It goes on really about those issues. And I think now athletes are more fine with speaking out about stuff like this. I feel like, you know, a lot of times we're put in a box that, you know, people always say, oh, sports and politics should stay separate and this. And I'm like, yes, but also at the same time, I'm a human first before I'm a tennis player. And if I'm interested in this and certain, I wouldn't even consider gun violence politics. I think that's just a life in general. I don't think that's political at all. But just in general, I think that I'm a human first. So of course I'm going to care about these issues and want to speak out of these issues. So when people make those comments, I'm like, I'm not going to be an athlete forever. There's going to be a time I'm going to retire and all this, and I'm still going to be a human. So of course I care about these topics. And yeah, I think if anything, sports gives you the platform to maybe make that message reach more people.
Thanks. Congratulations, Coco. Tennis, of course, before your time had seen a good number of cautionary tales of, you know, girls 14, 15 have enormous success, a lot of expectations, and their careers didn't necessarily pan out. And my question is, in your case, what do you feel are some of the key factors that, since your breakthrough here at 14, just in 4 years, have kept your development, both as a player and a person, a young woman, on track? And, we've seen this systematic growth and blossoming in you.
I think that all has to go to the people I have surrounded around me. I think that my parents and in general, my family in general, have done an amazing job of supporting me through wins and losses. And I would say I'm definitely my harshest critic when it comes to that. So I think really it's about who you surround yourself with. And I mean, I don't know for other player situations, but I'm lucky for me, in my team and my family, that they never put results as the only thing that mattered. If anything, it's like how I act on the court or how I act off the court. And, one instance I remember after I lost in the quarterfinals, I broke a racket, and my dad was not happy about it. And he wasn't even mad that I lost. He was mad about that factor. But for me, it was just an eye-opener that, my parents really just care about the character of my personality and not so much on tennis results.
Coco, your next opponent is the dominant force in women's tennis. She hasn't lost in 34 matches. Can you just talk about the challenge you're facing, the world number one? And secondly, how do you think your life is going to change if you lift that trophy on Saturday?
I mean, playing Iga, she's on a streak right now, obviously, and I think going in, I have nothing to lose. She's definitely the favorite going into the match on paper. But I think that going in, I'm just going to play free and play my best tennis. And I think in a Grand Slam final, anything can happen. And if I do lift the trophy, honestly, I don't think my life is going to change, really. I know it sounds kind of bad to say that, but the people who love me are still going to love me regardless if I lift the trophy or not. I mean, obviously, if I do, it'll be probably more attention from the people around the world. But in general, in that aspect, I'm not worried about how my life is going to change, because I really don't think it's going to change.
It might.
Yeah, maybe. But
Coco, you're just at the start of your career with hopefully lots of more success and opportunities to come. In Great Britain, we're celebrating the Queen's Platinum Jubilee this weekend. Oh. Would you like to meet the Queen?
Who would say no to meeting the Queen? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I didn't know. I'm not really informed on British traditions and everything, but obviously I know I don't think that would ever happen, but if I did have the opportunity to meet the Queen, that would be pretty cool. And yeah, I don't know. She's been a queen forever. In the US, the presidents, they change and all that. But so meeting somebody that's been in that platform, I think, for that long would definitely be a change of perspective in my head, because I never, growing up as a girl, you always want to be the princess, but reading the real queen, that would be pretty cool.